So we got something, and I'm gonna get to this AOC thing because everyone is talking about Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez having this brilliant speech, you know, just brilliant, just brutalizes people in the Senate and whatnot on the floor. I've heard it at length. I've heard snippets. This one here is I'm taking this one right off of TYT. And the title of the show that I'm getting it from is AOC Smacks Down Corporate Politicians. So that's where I'm getting it from. I'm going to let you listen. And once you're done listening, for those that haven't heard this, pause it, get your thoughts together, what you think about it, unpause it, and then hear what I got to say. So here goes.
I represent one of the hardest hit communities in the hardest hit city in this country, Queens, New York. 13 dead in a night in Elmhurst Hospital alone. Our community's reality is this country's future if we don't do anything. Hospital workers do not have protective equipment. We don't have the necessary ventilators, but we have to go into this vote eyes wide open. What did the Senate majority fight for? One of the largest corporate bailouts with as few strings as possible in American history. Shameful. The greed of that fight is wrong for crumbs, for our families. And the option that we have is to either let them suffer with nothing or to allow this greed and billions of dollars, which will be leveraged into trillions of dollars, to contribute to the largest income inequality gap in our future. There should be shame about what was fought for in this bill and the choices that we have to make.
That was your time to pause it. You can pause it right here. Collect your thoughts, what you think about it. Because what I'm going to say is not going to go with it. You can tell by the title of this. Now, okay, here are my thoughts. First and foremost, bullshit. Not what you think. What did she say was right? Yeah, everything. Everything she said was accurate. It was on the money. Everything. But it was bullshit. Why was it bullshit? Because she's going in front of a place that is monstrously corrupt. It's so corrupt, it is no longer corrupt anymore. It is literally, as I've said before, business as usual. That's what it is. She is in there trying to shame people that have no shame. She is trying to, literally, we should feel shamed. Everything should be shamed for what they fought for. Why? These people aren't giving a goddamn. They never cared about the people. All of you listening, if you are not rich, okay, if you are not wealthy, you are nothing more than political cattle. That's it. I need you to understand that. You are political cattle. If you are upper, middle, or lower middle class, if you are upper, middle, or lower class, you are political cattle. That's it. If you are in poverty, and when I say that, I mean you do not work, you are homeless, jobless, living in a shelter. I'm not going to go on because it's going to piss me off because I can't do anything to help those people. But if you are in that area, you're not political cattle, you are political fodder. Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez is only talking to people that have no empathy, no sympathy, and they are not looking at this entire pandemic as a pandemic. They see it as something that is here for the moment, and it will go away. because money is more important than people. People make these corporations the money, but they're like, yeah, I don't care about them. Literally. So when she gets done talking, do you know what happens? Do you know what happened? When she wasn't even really done talking, but in the longer version, you can hear the chairman or the president in charge of it say, that's your time, that's it. And she's like, I yield. Because it was her time. She had a time limit. And she had to yield the floor to somebody else. So basically, when she got done saying this so-called brilliant thing that any decent person would have already thought, do you know what happened? Let me break it down in layman's terms for people that don't really get that level of political stuff. And I get that level of political stuff because it's just blatant to me. But basically what they said was, shut the fuck up, move on. Fuck you and your needs. Fuck you and what you had to say. Who's next? Who got some other bullshit to say? You know, that's really it. Who's got some shit to say that we don't care about? Oh, you care about the people too? Fuck you. You care about the people too? Fuck you. Oh, well, look at this guy. He's a Republican. He's going to care all about the money and getting people back to work. The working class, bootstraps, and all the bullshit, propaganda and lying and stuff. That's what's going on. See, Alejandra is a rock star. She has failed. And I'm going to explain how she's failed. Now, is she a positive voice where she is? Yes. Is she the type of person we need there? Mostly. 90% she is. Let me explain. This woman, look, from rags to moderate riches. That's where she is. She's doing great. Doing great. I like what she's got to say. She hasn't changed her view, and she's still pushing forward. But she's a rock star. She's popular. Everyone likes her. What's the next zinger? What's the next thing? Here's the thing. She's not a movement. We need a political movement. She's a failure. That's what she is. In Hollywood, there's a thing that happens. All right. And I think the woman that Monique, here's what happened. She didn't play the game. See, Hollywood got her a few great roles. All right. A few great roles. And then Monique didn't say anything positive. She didn't eat Hollywood's asshole out. She didn't go on public TV and everything. Oh yeah, it was great working there. These people are great. Everything is great. You know, don't talk about bullshit. Don't talk about abuse. Don't talk about somebody getting on your nerves. No, it was great. You should work there. These people are awesome. You have to eat their assholes out. And when you do that, they say you have advertised us in a glowing way. We will want you in more movies. That's how that worked. She didn't do that. Monique was, one, difficult to work with. And then she decided to tell the truth, which is great. But for Hollywood, which is a corrupt film industry, all of that, she did the wrong thing. Now, Alejandra, see, there was a movement started, and that movement allowed her to win her district and unseat a Titan incumbent. All right. That's what happened. The movement got her ass in the seat. And once she was in the seat, she's not paying the movement back. She's not talking the right talk. She needs to get in there and advocate which ones to support, which ones to not support. She needs to tell the people who to vote for, who not to vote for. She needs to endorse people, the ones that she know is already the right ones, the progressive ones, the actual progressive ones. She needs to endorse them off back, not one, all of them. And anyone like her, any other, Ilhan Omar, she needs to do the same thing. They annihilated the movement. The only one that still has a flare of the movement is Bernie Sanders. That's the only one left. They are not pushing the movement, but he is. He can't. He's not necessarily running for president anymore. Not necessarily. Yeah, he hasn't dropped out, but he has not backed out. That's the difference. Bernie Sanders is still in the race, but he's showing how presidential he would be. And he is banking. Not only is he doing this for the right reasons, which is for the people, for us, not him, because he's looking out for everyone else's future. He is living his future. And this is his future. Right now, what Bernie Sanders is doing, this is his future. Everything he's ever worked for, everything that he's done in his life, this is where it is right now. And I'll be honest with you, there got to be some points where he just sits down and want to cry thinking about it. The movement should be held on higher standards with better people to never give up. See, what the problem is, and I'm going to get up out of here soon. I'm not going to make this super long. This is political Stockholm syndrome, and it does not equate to political change. See, the Young Turks and Secular Talk decided that they're going, Cenk Uygur and Kyle Kulinski, they decided instead of starting a third party, instead of starting another party, a challenger party to separate one from the other, they thought it would be easier to invade the party. When I first heard that, we're going to do just as Democrats. We're going to run progressives and we're going to get them in there. They got the people behind them. And I thought to myself, when I first heard it, I was like, this is bullshit. This is going to have an amazing turnout for maybe a year at best. And that's exactly what happened. Because no matter what these people do, they get slapped down by the corporate Democrats. They're going to get slapped down every time. That is the problem. You literally are trying to say, I don't want this nation to be governed by people who are for profit. I want them to be governed by people who are for the people. The establishment is saying, we don't make lots of money if we don't advocate for big donors, big corporations. Therefore, when you bring your little mealy mouth ass in here, what you're doing is trying to take the food off of the table. And we don't eat that food if the help don't prepare it right. That's what's happening. So you've got 4 or 5 progressives that got in there because of the progressive movement, but they're not in there advocating for the progressive movement. There's nothing stopping them from saying we need a progressive movement to keep going. There's nothing stopping them from saying we need you, those progressives out there, to run for the Senate, to run for governor, to run for mayor, your local sheriff, anything of office. If you are able-bodied and you can get out there and do this, then you're the right one to do it. You don't need grand intelligence to run for office. I mean, look at what Cenk Uygur did. He's got a mass backing, a mass supporting, and didn't have any support. That, come on. He had the people behind him. In his district in California, the people were behind him. All the TYT members all over the nation was behind him. But there's not enough TYT members in California. And when you have your show as a capitalistic show where we give you enough information, we'll dogpile on the common stuff, but if you want to know more, you have to pay an absurd amount of money. That turns people off. They'll watch you, but they're not going to follow you. If he had ran, I'm going to say 6 years ago, if Cenk Uygur would have ran then, he would have won hands down. It would have been a landslide because they weren't so pro-capitalist. It wasn't so obvious out there that they shut the fuck up when Google starts giving them money. They don't talk bad about Google anymore. I haven't heard them say anything bad about Verizon or AT&T. If Comcast is still out there, Time Warner Cable or their subsidiary sisters or rebrandings with the Spectrum and all that shit. I haven't heard them talk bad about them, and they doing some egregious shit as it is. And so people know that stuff, and a lot of people are turned off by that stuff. They see it and they know it. So they've already, look, you want to be a cool person to TYT? Buy their shit. You be their member, you pay your money, and they might say something that you type. Yay. But what you type doesn't change anything. Invading the political party should have shown them by now it's not going to work. There's too much money on the table. You have to separate yourself from that party. You have to separate yourself so people can see there is a clear-cut difference. Because when you go to that ballot box and you see Democrat on the thing, which one of them is the progressive and which one is the, I just put my name up here because I think I can make a difference. What difference? I don't know. I just put my name up there. And which one is the, well, you know what? You see my name all over TV. You see my name all on the placards outside and the little, I don't know, advertisement stickers on the graffiti in the ground. Because there's a lot of that crap. Who has that name recognition? Who does? Because that's the one you're going to remember. Yeah, you're going to see those other names and say, I remember something about it, but the other name, I know that name. I think I'll just vote for that one. I can't remember who is the progressive one or not. I'm going to go for that. I took my cheat sheet in, and I didn't even trust the cheat sheet. But I did it. Because that's what I had. It's hard to find shit in North Carolina. You go to .gov and Senate and all this and look up, and oh my goodness, no. Because what you'll see up there is not everybody. And then they will gerrymander the district in like a month right before the election so that anyone that's up there, they don't count. I couldn't vote for two people. I put them up there, I voted because I was like, wait, where's this person? I know these two people should have been up here, but they're not. So I had to go with the next name that wasn't so name recognition. And I went for that and I got lucky. And that's the one I should have voted for. People out there, if you're a senator, if you are a governor, if you are in politics by any means, if you have political shows, there is no progressive movement if there's no talk of the progressive movement. And there's no progressive movement if there's no progressive party. There's no separation. Not one. We need an actual separation. I've been saying this since I started in 2016. Just think about you know what? Do research on wolf-pack.com. Wolf-pack.com. Look at that amendment. I think it's the 29th Amendment. Read it. See what it's all about. And all it should have taken was introducing that to the average everyday person. And then enough of them go up and say, hey, this is what we want. We want this. We want this amendment. And then, the panel should say, you are the people who have spoken. This is what you want. We will allow it. We will make sure this happens for you. But it gets shut down by the establishment so much. You need 2/3 of all states to get this thing on the floor, and I think in the process to be ratified. It should not have taken 8 years to get nowhere with something that is this simple, because it bypasses the courts, it bypasses the Senate and all that. When you get 2/3 of the state, you get your amendment. That's it. You need 2/3 of all the states. It should not have taken this long. It went from being a movement to being a members club. And that's why wolf-pack.com isn't succeeding. Gain the members, brag about the members, brag about your parties and stuff, but there's no goddamn forward movement. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to stay exactly where they are, but talk about moving forward. And there's very few people out there that talks about moving forward and are willing to actually take those hits, take those blows, remove the money from their pockets, and move forward like it should have been 40 years ago. We're not even fighting for the future. We're fighting to rectify the past. Just think about that, everyone. We're fighting to rectify the past, make the past what it should have been, but presently, and then try to move forward. We are so slow. It's going to take another 4 generations just so we can get what we should have had 40 years ago. Just think about that, everyone. Just think about that. I know I'm gone long, but I have to get this. I got to let y'all know. Because we need to get rid of rock stars. We need to get people that are going to push the movement. We need the movement pushed. Now, Ilhan, Alejandria, and all these others, look, they're good people. They're in there. They're fighting the fight per se. It's not a fight. It's not. It's literally a person with no legs trying to play kickball. That's all it is. Oh, they get up there and they get to play and you cheer them on. And then they'll say something, cursory or something like that at the ball. And everyone gets a great laugh and then they walk off. Well, with their hands. But that's what happens. That's nothing. I mean, could you imagine watching a basketball game where they dribble, pass the ball, dribble, pass the ball, dribble, pass the ball? They get the shot, start picking their thumbnail, and be like, man, like, what, you gonna shoot it? Nah, man, I'm thinking about this next insult I can give it. You need a movement. Shoot the ball. Pass it to somebody who will. Pass it to the next open person. When your team members are going down and they can't make it, you get more team members. You build up a good roster. And you keep that movement going. And when everyone sees the roster that you've built and how amazing it is, they start looking at the stats of each of those players. They start looking at the movements on the court. They wonder about their individual skill, their talent, their zeal for the game. And then then other teams start trying to build their roster roughly the same because they gotta compete. And that is how you get the movement going. Because at first in basketball, it was all jump shots, 3-pointers, and then they allow something else onto the team. You've got fast moving, evasion, jumping, dunking. Or you shoot your threes all day, run in, dunk, steal it, dunk, steal it, dunk. Layup, crazy layup, pass to the outside, 3-pointer. All day, every day. What happened? At first it was hated. They hated them. Y'all can't be playing basketball. This ain't your sport. But what happened? All those teams acquiesced and they started looking for the same type of talent so they could compete. The squad that the Republicans named them, that now the progressives have adopted for some fucking reason, they aren't trying to build their team. They're going at it alone. No one cares to help them build their team. And that's why it fails. They have not pushed the movement. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not press the movement, you can't get the ball to the other side of the court. And if you can't get it to the other side of the court, there's no need to think about even trying to put that ball in the basket. You have got to push forward. Get new members. Expose the movement. Don't let it just sit in silence. Speak up. Be about it. I want a progressive party. That's what I want. They want to be a part of the Democrats. The very people who are en masse with their talent is literally blocking new talent. Oh yes, was the new thing introduced to this team, these Democrats? Yes. But they didn't get it. They are not letting them play. They are not letting them get the ball. They're not giving them floor time. Because when they do get on the floor, they stand on the court. They do. And they get to tell everybody what the shot clock is on. They get to tell the audience what the clothes everybody's wearing. And then the coach says, all right, good. Heal the floor. Get the fuck off. You need to light a fire. If you are in their district, any of these progressive women district, the squads districts, if you have any access to talk to them or know someone that can or get that someone, tell them they need to push the movement. Drop names. Support people openly. That's what they need to do. That's what they gotta do. I'm not going to be a broken record anymore. It's been long enough. You got questions and whatnot, ask them below. Timestamp it. If I got something wrong, fine. But I really hope that you listen to me. I really do. This is a time where people are inside and can listen. They got the chance. Spread my videos, or at least spread my message that this is what we need, a movement. Nothing needs to stall out. We need a progressive movement, not a progressive rock star. The movement got the stars in, and the stars have not pushed the movement. That's why it's dead in the water. So please, if you actually want a better future, if you want to come out of this pandemic better, change your outlook. You cannot, and just hear me before I leave, you cannot and you will not get anything better while trying to stay the same as usual. Don't nothing change if you don't make it change. And I'm doing my best. I am. I honestly am. This is Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.